Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of resellermindset.com. And for this Reseller Friday, I want to talk to you about, are you choosing success or are you choosing failure? Now, this may seem to many people to be something that you don't have a choice in. It's just fated to you, or it's a destiny or something like that. But the reality is, each and every day you're making choices that either lead to your success or to your failure, or maybe even worse, to your stagnation, and it's just kind of in limbo, just kind of going along, doing the same thing with no growth. Because even if you had some downturn, you could at least examine what's going on and maybe make some changes. But if you're just stagnant and doing the same thing day in and day out, and not making changes to improve, that's a terrible position to be in. And of course, outright failure is obviously a terrible position to be in too. But every day you're choosing. Those little decisions you make either lead to success or they lead to failure. They lead to prosperity or they lead to lack. They lead to great abundance or they lead to scarcity. But you make the choice each and every day. Did you list items today? For so many resellers, they're inconsistent. They list for maybe a week every single day, and then they go a few days without listing. They're inconsistent, they're not reliable, and they're not running their business like a real business. And so they get inconsistent, mediocre results. And if they have any integrity, what else could they expect besides those kind of results? What about the person who chooses to list every single day? Personally, I've listed every day for many, many years now. Every single day. There's consistency there. And you know what? There also is consistency is in sales, because if you consistently list each and every day, at some point you build up enough inventory that's high quality, desirable inventory, that your sales will start to be pretty consistent. What happens is many people list a few of their good items real quickly. When they get them, they're excited about them. So they list them real fast, they sell, and then their sales just fall off because that was the only good items they had. They're filling their stores with inventory nobody wants. Our inventory is very long tail, so it's going to take a very long time to sell, and it can make business very rough as a reseller. You have to be consistent. What about your sourcing? Are you sourcing every day? I know resellers that source every day, but their houses are filled with inventory they haven't listed. Now, I have no problem with you sourcing every day. It's a good habit, actually. But many people have no problem sourcing every day because they enjoy it. They don't enjoy listing. They don't enjoy packing orders or filling orders. They enjoy sourcing. So they do it consistently every single day in many cases. But if your house or office or warehouse is filled with inventory that's not listed, maybe you don't need to source today. Now, you can still source every day, but you need to have some sort of plan in place to get those unlisted items listed so you can start getting some sales and recover some of that capital that's tied up in this inventory that's just sitting there rotting away. So if you have 1,000 items that are unlisted, just sitting there, and you want to source every day, okay, then how about you say, I'm going to list 10 of these unlisted items that are sitting here in this death pile, and I'll list whatever new inventory I also get. That way you could still do the sourcing you enjoy doing, and that's fine, but you're making a dent in those 1,000 items that are just sitting there, making you no money and doing nothing of any value. And depending on what the item is, it's actually losing you money because those items are sitting there, and as they sit there, the value is going down. As I said, it depends on the item. Some like vintage electronics and stuff, they can sit around for years. It doesn't matter because they'll actually generally go up in price because there are fewer and fewer of those items available. But that's still not a good practice because you don't want your money just tied up in inventory sitting there that's not even listed. So even if somebody wanted to buy it, they can't because you haven't listed it. What about your shipping? I ordered something from somebody and it's been over a month and they haven't shipped it yet. And they don't respond to messages. Now, I don't know what happened to them. And I'm not complaining, it doesn't matter. But there are sellers out there that perform like that. I've talked to resellers who take a week before they ship an item. That's not a good experience for a customer. You can literally order from Walmart or Amazon and get stuff overnighted or, in many cases, delivered within a few hours. That's what you're competing with, and if you're not even shipping for a week, that's a bad experience. And choosing to take a long time to ship is choosing failure. It's choosing mediocrity. It is not choosing success. It's not choosing abundance. It's not choosing the right path. These are not even subjective things. Obviously, all customers want to get their items as quickly as possible. That's not subjective. That's an objective fact that everybody knows. Now, you may be limited on how quickly you can get it to them, but you're not limited on how quickly you can get it shipped out. So ship out as quickly as you possibly can. How long it takes for the carrier to get it to the customer in the end is not your responsibility. You can't control that. But you do control if it takes you a week before you even ship it in the first place. Another way many people are choosing failure is by not controlling their income. You may say, well, how can I control my income? I don't control whether people buy or not. Yeah, you do. There are people who do not promote their listings on the various platforms who allow promotion, paid promotion that is. And so they have an item that there's 10,000 of them available. They're not even the lowest price, which is a problem already. And then they're not advertising it. So they are the proverbial needle in the haystack, hoping that somebody will just come along, and they don't even have the best price to actually be competitive. And the only thing that could actually get them in front of a customer would be promoted listing, and they don't do it. They're directly controlling the fact they don't get as much income as they could. That's a choice to fail. Now listen, none of us want to pay extra money to advertise on a platform we're already paying to be on. But the reality is the marketplaces are big. There's a lot of inventory on there. There's a lot of the same items on there. And you got to do something different to get yours before other people. First and foremost, obviously, be the lowest price. That's an important thing. But beyond that, there may be a lot of people with the same price you have. You need to advertise. And I don't make any money from telling you to advertise. I don't care. Don't do it if you don't want. But the reality is, if you want to make more sales, you need to start promoting your listings. I've seen resellers whine and complain about having to pay 2% in promoted listing fees when it's getting them sales. And there are people who refuse to do it. I'm not going to pay 2% extra. Really? That's your dividing line? That's where you stop and say, I can't do any more? I can't give any more? 2% is what's going to be between you and getting a sale? If your inventory is so poor and so pathetic that you can't afford 2% to advertise it, you're in a world of trouble. Every single day as a reseller, you make choices, and those choices are either leading you toward more success or toward more failure, or maybe just to mediocrity, to where you are right now, and no improvement, no growth, no adapting, no improving how quickly you list each day. There are people taking pictures the same way they've been taking pictures for 10 years, and it's not the best way to do it, and they refuse to adapt. Their method is slow, and it holds them back, and it keeps them from listing more items, and they refuse to even think about it. I literally have timed myself a number of times to see how quickly I take pictures, and how can I improve. Do I really need this second picture over here? And do I need this picture over there? And I want to get a lot of pictures so the customer can see the item at every angle possible, since they can't physically see it in person. But I don't want to waste time. I don't want to take redundant pictures. I don't want to take pictures that are not needed. And I don't want to waste my time taking longer to take pictures. If your camera has a little 1 or 2 second delay between pictures, well, that may not sound like a lot, but that adds up real quickly if you're taking 100 pictures a day or 200 pictures a day. You need to think about these things and realize every time you pick up that old camera that is slow and has a delay, you're choosing to take longer to get those pictures taken, which means you're choosing to take longer to list an item. And that is a choice for failure. The choice for success is maybe you get a better camera. Maybe you invest in a camera that is quick and fast, and you can get the pictures taken you need to get quickly. You don't have to wait for it to adjust to autofocus, and it's so slow. And then there's a delay after you take the picture. Every single day you're making a choice. And I want you to choose the path of success. I want you to choose the things that will lead you to another level of success, and to constantly be improving in your reselling business, because you can do very well. 6 figures a year is easy. 7 figures a year is very possible if you'll do the right things in the right way. And it's just simply a matter of all those little choices you make each and every day, whether you choose to call off work early and not do the things you should have done, not list, not get those death piles listed, not even list at all. Every day you're making choices. Choose the choices that lead to success. And think about it. Think about every time you choose, why am I doing this? Am I doing this because I'm trying to go towards success, or am I doing this because I'm just trying to do the bare minimum, or I'm just doing what is comfortable for me? And really ask yourself those questions and choose the ways, choose the methods, choose the path that will lead to your success. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.